All right, we are back, and we're going to start you off with our Tri-State Office Furniture Tweet of the Day, and this comes to us from NFL on CBS. It's a good one, too. T.J. Watt now has more sacks this season. That's 15 after 2 yesterday. 15 than the entire Tennessee roster, which has 14. Tennessee may be in a bit of trouble, and as far as T.J. Watt is concerned, Chris, I think this is a Defensive Player of the Year right here. He leads in just about every category. The Rams are going backwards. Aaron Donald, who I thought was going to be the man to get that again, but if you look at these numbers here, you'll see the difference. Watt's number 1 in sacks, number 1 in tackles for losses, number 1 in quarterback pressures, 2nd in hits. And Donald, he's having a wonderful year by any standard, not necessarily his, but I don't know that there's a challenger. I think it's Watts to win this year. You?
Well, you might be surprised to hear me say this. You probably thought I was going to troll and say, no, it's still Darnold. Can I make this comparison? Because I think you and a lot of other people will agree with it and maybe even like it. To me, Aaron Donald is the defensive Patrick Mahomes. He is the best player on the planet on that side of the football. But Aaron Rodgers this year is having a better season than Patrick Mahomes. And now with those numbers, it is hard to argue that T.J. Watt is having a better season than the guy that I think is the absolute best in the world at what he does or on his side of the ball. So using that logic, I will actually, believe it or not, agree on this one and say that T.J. Watt, like Aaron Rodgers, deserves the Player of the Year award, or in Rodgers' case, the MVP, over the guy that I think is overall a better football player.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. I also think it's what you can say about LeBron James every year in the NBA. He's the guy who you could look at and say he's the best player going on the planet, and there's somebody else who could have a better year. That doesn't mean LeBron can't win it, but yeah, I get that. I think it's a good comparison. All right, let's go to the lines. We have a lot of people, Chris, who want to talk. We're going to begin with Brink in Murraysville. What's up, Brink?
Hi. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Good. I was calling that. I can't believe the commissioner on the Ravens fine. I think it's so light, it's unbelievable for what all they did.
Compared to Tennessee, I agree. I expected more. I thought the longer they waited, Brink and Chris, it meant there was going to be more. Were you surprised, Chris?
Yeah, it always makes me wonder if an owner's relationship with the league affects the way that these punishments come down. It seems very haphazard, I think is the word I would use, and very inconsistent. Baltimore had a person be extremely negligent within the organization, and the only reason I could think of that they didn't get hit harder like Tennessee did was because the Titans sort of flouted the rules with those practices, those little get-togethers at a high school field. But Baltimore's overall issue was far more disruptive and seemed almost as negligent.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, this is why I wonder about the TikTok thing now, only because the NFL seems to have lessened their punishment for certain things that they said they were going to take seriously, and that is Mike Tomlin got fined how much, hundreds of thousands of dollars for face mask violations. If you look around the league, Chris, you'll see it happen on every single team, and so it's stopped. We haven't heard any of those fines anymore. So, it was optics at the beginning. I don't know where it's turned into now, but you see violations all the time.
If it's something, Bob, that's going to give Sean Payton yet another excuse to whine and cry about how everybody's unfair to him, I'm all here for it, because then that'll be immediately followed by the Saints having an early exit from the playoffs and Sean Payton whining some more. So if it gets the league's preeminent whiner another chance to do his thing and complain and moan and groan, then let's do it.
Good point. John in Banksville joins us right now on the Borders and Borders hotline. Hey, John.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Very good, John. Thanks.
I've got one question about the college playoffs coming up. Now, we all know that Notre Dame has as much of a chance of beating Bama as me winning the Powerball. But if
you might have a better chance.
If some miracle should happen and they should upset them in some way, in theory, them and Clemson could wind up playing 3 times in 1 year. Mm-hmm. And my question is, in college football, has it ever happened before where the two same teams played 3 times?
That's a good question, John. My tendency would say
not.
No. Yeah, just because this was an unusual year, the way they scheduled it and how it worked out. But yeah, I don't think it's ever happened. But I also think
can
you're
I
right.
just
real quick? I don't think Notre Dame has a chance. But go ahead.
No, they're a 19-point dog. They're the biggest dog in college football playoff history. But I will say this about the college football playoff. It's basically Alabama and Clemson because they're the best teams and they have the best players. And then let's get Ohio State and Oklahoma in there or Notre Dame. It's two of those three teams. It's such a boring concept. My answer to the actual question would be the only time I think it could have happened is if you maybe had a couple SEC teams play in the regular season, close game, play in the SEC title game somehow, close game again, and then make the college football playoff. But I'm pretty sure it hasn't.
Yeah, that would be the only way. And there have been teams in that position to do it, but it's never turned out that way. But yeah, that would be it. But I'm doubting that would be it. But it's a very good question, John. Let's go out to Mike in Oakland. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? How you doing?
Good.
So I want to two things. First of all, what do you guys think when Haskins got released? What do you think? My gut tells me, I could be wrong, but I could see New England taking a chance on him. You know, obviously, I don't think Newton's coming back. It's a cheap rookie contract. And you know what? Belichick, they always feel like he can kind of right some of these guys. It's just a thought on that. And then the second point is, I don't know if you guys heard, but I was watching NFL Network early this afternoon briefly, and they had a report that the Juju said after the game that the Steelers all felt during halftime that the Colts knew the plays that were going to be called, knew what they were running, and that's when Ben decided to just go improvise and call plays that aren't even in the playbook, and then look what happened. So it kind of makes me curious as to, what is Fichtner's role now moving forward? Obviously, the past month he's called a terrible game. Ben now can throw the ball down the field. We can see that at least, pretty accurately, at least 30 yards. I got to wonder, is Ben going to be doing this himself moving forward? Just want to get your
Well, I think thanks for the call, Mike. I heard a little bit about that. I did not see that conversation, but listen, he's very good in the no huddle. That's what he likes to do. That's what they should be doing a lot earlier than scripted 15 plays, which featured 3 straight slants before the line of scrimmage and drops and everything else. I don't understand their starts to games. That has to change. But listen, he threw that ball 50 yards in the air on a 39-yard touchdown to Deontay Johnson. If that's the way they have to go, then so be it. I think they have to go that way.
I think the scripts are really bad. I don't think Fichtner's good at that. I did see the same kind of report. I didn't see it from Juju. I saw it from a big analytics guy. Eric Ebron refuted that notion, though, and said everything they ran in the second half they practiced. Here's the real story. They were probably getting predictable tendency-wise and in terms of the look. And when you let Ben Roethlisberger run the no huddle, he is able to change things up more at the line of scrimmage. They're not following a script. They keep the defense in more of a base format. They keep the defensive personnel what they want out there. And he's able to generate more favorable matchups. I don't think it's that Randy Fichtner's a bonehead. I think it's that their way of doing things when they're not no-huddling has become way too predictable, which is a problem we all thought existed several weeks ago.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break here. It's 412-575-2600. We'll come back with more right here. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call on Pittsburgh CW.